Today's episode: collapse in Moscow region and Bryansk. Explosions, fires and one less military factory. Ukraine may receive 1.8 million shells from the Czech Republic and a Patriot system from Israel. The first photos of the Magura V7 drones, which shot down a Russian fighter jet, have appeared. In Kharkiv, after a Russian strike, the largest market in Europe, Barabashovo, is on fire. Russia took air defense systems from the region for the parade, but is also preparing provocations. The Russian army is preparing a landing on an island in the Kherson region. The United Kingdom is preparing for war with Russia and updating nuclear defense plans. Poland accuses Russia of interfering in presidential elections. The well-coordinated work of the new US administration, or the right hand doesn't know what the left is doing. It has become known who was behind the order to suspend aid to Ukraine. Hello, this is Ukraine Today. I'm Viktor Kalatai. Hit like, subscribe to the channel, press the bell, and let's expose Russian disinformation every day. And now let's dive into the news. Russia has woken up again to a loud bang, this time in 3 regions at once. In Moscow and the region, explosions, in Bryansk, fires, and one of the key military factories, Strela, has completely stopped working. This is the very enterprise that worked for Russia's defense sector. Now it seems it's working for Ukraine's victory. And while Russians are learning the basics of fire safety, Ukraine may receive real reinforcements. 1.8 million artillery shells from the Czech Republic and unexpectedly a Patriot air defense system from Israel. As they say, with each passing day, the Ukrainian armed forces are getting more polite. Also, a little something from defense journalism. The first photos of the Magura V7 marine drones have leaked online. These small but fierce devices send the Russia Su-30 to the bottom of the Black Sea. And who after this will say that drones are just toys?
Moscow, under attack. Friendly drones paid a visit to Putin's capital.
Do you hear?
Moscow Mayor Sobyanin stated that the Russian air defense allegedly repelled an attack by 4 drones. Also, nighttime bangs were heard in the Moscow region.
Something's buzzing over there. There it flew somewhere over there. I can't see it.
Due to the drone raid, Rosaviatsia announced the carpet plan at Moscow's Vnukovo airport. This means the airport was neither receiving nor dispatching flights. Domodedovo airport was also not operational.
I do not rule out the fact that this nature of actions by the Russian authorities is a staging of events on the eve of May 9th with the aim of accusing the Ukrainian side of being unable to negotiate and accordingly violating the so-called unilateral peace agreements announced by the Russian Federation.
It also hit the Bryansk region. As a result of the attack, a massive fire broke out at the Strela plant in the village of Suzemka.
There, the factories are burning. Amazing, of course.
According to some reports, the plant went out of operation after the strike.
This enterprise is a key part of the Russian military-industrial complex. According to reports from the Russian side itself, this enterprise produces electronics for the Russian defense industry and collaborates with the Rostec Corporation. According to Russian reports, the plant was allegedly attacked using multiple rocket launcher systems. The enterprise itself is located in the Suzemka district of the Bryansk region. However, according to other sources, the strike on the enterprise was carried out using unmanned aerial vehicles.
And while the Russians are calculating their losses, the Czech Republic continues to support Ukraine. As part of the cooperation, Kiev may receive 1.8 billion units of artillery ammunition.
According to the EU's own estimates, the ability of European partners to provide Ukraine with artillery shells by the end of 2025 is about 2 million shells. This significantly enhances the combat capability of Ukraine's defense forces and reduces the firepower advantage, which until recently was in favor of the Russian side.
In addition, Ukraine will receive an upgraded Patriot air defense system, which was previously based in Israel. Negotiations are also underway with allies about the possible transfer of another system from Germany or Greece, according to the New York Times, citing American officials.
The chances of receiving it are quite high. It should be noted that currently there are 8 Patriot systems in Ukraine, but 2 of them are under repair. The Patriot is the only anti-aircraft missile system capable of countering aeroballistic targets. There is also the European equivalent, the SAMP-T, but they are limited in number. Therefore, acquiring 2 Patriots is a significant enhancement to Ukraine's air and missile defense system.
Additionally, the first photos of the Magura V7 Sea drone have appeared online, which Ukrainian forces used to destroy 2 Russian Su-30 fighters.
The technical specifications of the Magura V7. Its length is about 8 meters, while the length of the Magura V5 is 5.5 meters. The Magura V7 has a modified nose shape. This feature implies improved seaworthiness. The Magura V7C drone is equipped with air-to-air missiles with infrared guidance. These are IM-9 missiles. It should be noted that the choice of these particular missiles is not accidental. They are the most widely used.
The elimination of the Russian Su-30 was the first instance in the world of a combat aircraft being destroyed by a sea drone.
But while we are celebrating achievements, Russia continues to target civilians. In Kharkiv, tragedy. Due to another attack, Barabashovo, the largest market in Ukraine and Europe, is on fire. Russia is once again demonstrating its military value, hitting kiosks and pavilions, a strategic object, if you will.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine today. Join us now.
Ukraine is fighting for freedom. Support independent Ukrainian journalism so we can keep telling the truth about this war. Click the link in the description and become our sponsor. Together to victory. And do you know why there are more hits on Kharkiv now? Because all air defense systems have been pulled to Moscow. They are preparing for the main show of the year, the May 9th parade. The key thing is to make sure the tanks look brand new and there is no missile salute from the Ukrainian side. At the same time, according to Ukrainian intelligence, Putin is preparing provocation for the May 9th to blame Ukraine for them. It's become a tradition. Just like Christmas without Christmas tree, the Victory Day is incomplete without fake terrorist attacks.
Putin is deploying almost 300 air defense systems of various ranges to secure the parade on May 9th in Moscow. The air defense systems have been brought in from Kazan, Grozny, and even from the front lines in the occupied territories. The defense is being structured in several layers.
The first layer is detection. For this, the Don 2N radar station is operational. Around Moscow, the mobile radar Nebo M Gamma, Don S1, Kasta is in operation. The second is for intercepting strategic threats. The third is long-range air defense. The S-400 systems cover approaches up to 400 kilometers. The fourth is close combat. The Panzer S1 and Tor M2 systems are stationed not only in the Moscow region, but also in Moscow on building rooftops and mobile platforms.
Russian mobile service providers are warning users via SMS that there will be restrictions on communication and internet traffic on May 9th. Since yesterday morning, Russians have been widely complaining about disruptions in mobile internet service. The first outages began due to the parade rehearsal. The signal is simply being jammed, fearing Ukrainian drones.
Even if they completely cover Moscow, it doesn't mean that a single drone won't be able to reach some military target. Because covering Moscow is a huge task, and 280 systems might not be enough. Therefore, to rule out and say that they have completely protected Moscow, even with such a large number of systems, I am more than sure that it's unrealistic to achieve.
Russia does not have the capability to fully protect itself, both on the front line and in Moscow. One of the recent successful examples is the city of Yelabuga. There, the Ukrainian armed forces struck a factory producing Shahids. It was a very well-protected facility. And yet, Ukrainian drones hit right at the heart. What can be said about Moscow, whose area is much larger than the factory?
There will be a parade on May 9th. In Moscow, 208 air defense systems were deployed around. And in Moscow, to protect this parade from Ukrainian drone attacks and other threats. Who could have thought that this would happen, well, literally a year and a half, or 2 years ago, especially before the start of the large-scale invasion? Who in Russia could have imagined that it would be necessary to shield Moscow from Ukrainian drone strikes in order to hold a parade?
Let us recall that recently Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in his address stated that he cannot guarantee the safety of officials who will attend the parade on Red Square. This implied that a massive strike is possible. That's why Putin doesn't want to embarrass himself by leaving his flanks exposed and pulling all the air defense systems to the White Stone City. Most of the systems are covering Russian military facilities located in the occupied territories of Ukraine. And now many of these facilities are left unprotected. Therefore, the strikes, which are quite likely on May 9th, will not be on Red Square, but the Kremlin will feel them.
If they are pulling together 280 systems with different ranges, including Buks and anything else they can transfer, it means that somewhere, something will be left exposed. That is, somewhere these systems will be taken off combat duty. And this means that for us, it will be a very good moment to strike purely at military targets, arsenals, military units, command posts, airfields, anything we can reach.
Will the armed forces of Ukraine strike Moscow on May 9th? Or will it be a series of strikes on military targets, from which air defense has been removed? It's not fundamental. The key point is that the initiative, in terms of airstrikes, has shifted to Ukraine's side. And a large number of such strikes could force Moscow to sit at the negotiating table on Kyiv's terms.
While Moscow is rehearsing for the parade, in the south things are getting tense. According to NGO officer Yuri Tkachuk, Russia is preparing a landing operation in the Kherson region. Enemy boats are gathering near the occupied Kinburn, speed more than 300. The goal is the islands controlled by Ukrainian armed forces. They are firing mortars, drones and multiple rocket launchers.
Why does the Russian Federation, the Russian army, need this operation? The seizure, the gradual seizure of the islands, allows us to expand the area of destruction for their equipment, in particular for unmanned aerial vehicles, drones and mortars. After all, the effective range of a mortar is 5 kilometers, and most of them are designed for 5 kilometers. Therefore, they need to get closer to the potential targets they want to destroy.
The United Kingdom is not waiting for an attack, it's preparing. To tell you the truth, it's about time. The Daily Telegraph reports that Prime Minister Starmer has ordered the updating of war response plans against Russia for the first time in 20 years. This includes bunkers from the government and the royal family, preserving BBC broadcasts and strategies for resource stockpiling. Our neighbor Poland is also in the crosshairs. The Minister of Digitalization, Gałkowski, said that Russia is attempting to interfere in the presidential elections. This involves large-scale cyber attacks, disinformation campaigns and attempts to paralyze critical infrastructure. Given Poland's role as a logistics hub for Ukraine, this isn't just an attack on elections, it's an attempt to strike at the rear of the front. And now, a surprise from Washington. In January, right after Donald Trump officially moved back into the White House, US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth decided, why wait for an order when you can just hold military aid for Ukraine? And so, 11 planes carrying arms were turned around in mid-air, allies were shocked, the White House was confused, and Kyiv and Warsaw nervously refreshed Truth Social. Trump, by the way, didn't sign anything. They just had a chat in the Oval Office and someone got a little too carried away. Well, it happens. New office, new people, old habits of chaos. Classic. At least now we know what well-coordinated administration work looks like. The Pentagon makes decisions, the White House finds out from the news, and Ukraine hears about delays in supply. Ukrainian Ombudsman Dmytro Lubinets released a video from the latest prisoner exchange, the 64th since the full-scale invasion began. Another 205 defenders are back on Ukrainian soil. Many of them were seriously ill, wounded or held captive since 2022. Finally, an exchange that doesn't involve empty words, just lives saved. Let's keep this going. That's it for today. Thank you for staying with us. We read your comments and feel your support. Strength to Ukraine defenders, glory to Ukraine. Like, subscribe and see you soon.